called Islamophobia, and he is ready to push against it. This is an opportunity for us. What I'm about to talk about is not a call for us to endorse anyone, but to recognize an opportunity that may not present itself for the next 20 years. Last Saturday, we met with a person who is swimming against the current. He is seeking the leadership of a party whom we as Muslims, traditionally, the moment we step on the shore of the American continent, we are told by those who are already here, make sure that you do not align yourself with the Conservative Party. And traditionally, we've been choosing to vote liberal. And I don't want to talk about voting for a party. This is not what I want to say. Now, the Conservative Party has been able to go against Muslims simply because of numbers. Because those who really want to make sure that Muslims stay pushed down as they rise above them and on them, they are funneling all their wealth, all their numbers, everything they can to support those leaders who will go public and say Islamism is the cancer that we need to excise. Do you remember who said that? It was the previous Conservative Prime Minister who was able to say that because our numbers, our affiliation, was not enough to say we will not allow you to say that. And many things happened along the way that a person who before he would make a declaration, he acted. And then, based on how he acted, he said, I want to seek the leadership of the Conservative Party because of what I've done over the last 22 years. His name is Patrick Brown. And even if I mention his name, I just for the purpose that when we met with him, people who are members of the Liberal Party from our community stood up and told them that we are members of the Liberal Party, but we are for the first time hearing something that gave us hope that we Muslims, the largest minority in Canada, will be able to influence the outcome and to stop Islamophobia before it will become the real cancer, not Islamism, but Islamophobia. You know what? It is something that is based on Patrick Brown stood up and spoke against the infamous ban on the niqab that was made by the Conservative government. They wanted to ban niqab in public places. You know, they introduced something called the tip line. You know, the tip line is a phone call. You talk about someone you know, and you will receive your reward simply by engaging in talking about each other. And Patrick Brown joined a delegation to Pakistan to find out what's going on, even though the government said it's not safe now to go to Pakistan, but he went. Patrick Brown went to Lebanon to help feeding and housing and looking after Syrian refugees. He went with Islamic Relief. With Islamic Relief. Despite everyone in his party mouthing him and saying, how dare you do that? But he did not listen to them. Patrick Brown stood up against Bill C-21 that was introduced in Quebec, banning hijab in public places, banning symbols of religious affiliation in public places. not only that, he didn't just say, I'm against it. He said, I'm donating $100,000 from the Brampton City budget to support the legal bill. And he challenged all big cities to do the same thing. And he was able to garnish lots of support because of what he did. Because of his stance that is clearly in favor of Muslims. And you know, if we look at the person who is running against him and is being supported big time by those who felt the heat of Patrick Brown, the person is Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre was the one who introduced the tip line and the ban on the niqab. And he stood up publicly and said, I cannot support a legislation against Islamophobia because Islamophobia does not exist to start with. Now, من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. Whosoever, you've heard it so many times, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you sense and discover and see something evil which is about to happen, you should try to change it yourself. If you can't, talk about it. We have a chance now not to allow Pierre Poilievre to become the next Prime Minister of Canada, because if he becomes the next Prime Minister of Canada, it will be worse than the Harper years, I can tell you that. And you know, this is how we can stop evil, by saying, we will just buy a membership for $15. Now it's either you pay individually $15, or we have to collectively pay millions of dollars in legal bills to fight Islamophobic outcomes. Either millions of dollars or just $15 to buy a membership and vote. And because in southwestern Ontario alone, we will be able to tip the balance. فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. We need to change that, because this munkar needs to be changed, and we are able to change it with $15 per person. I am not asking you to endorse Patrick Brown. I am not endorsing him. I am just doing what is right as a Muslim. We as an Islamic center, as the London Muslim Mosque, as the Taqwa Mosque, we cannot. We are religious institutions, but we are talking about the common good of our community. And that's how we do it, rather than later on saying, oops, I wish we could. I wish we did this, I wish we did that. And you know, I will end the second khutbah by saying, if we have the likes of Patrick Brown saying publicly, as he did, he said, if I become Prime Minister, I will never relocate the Canadian embassy to Al-Quds. I will never do that. And he went public to say, I condemn all the violence recently that is taking place in Al-Quds, in Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. He said it publicly. So if we have a Prime Minister like him, we will be safer. But if we don't do what we are supposed to do, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Do something. And in Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ بِالْقِسْطِ شُهَدَاءَ لِلَّهِ. You know what's قَوَّامِينَ بِالْقِسْطِ? Stand up for causes of justice. This is a cause of justice. This is a cause of justice. So please, I know you will be in a hurry, okay? But before you leave, outside there are tables where you can take a pamphlet that shows you how to buy membership for $15. Now, do it for yourself, members of your household, your friends, everybody you know. Because we want to do something which is practical. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لم تقولون ما لا تفعلون كبر مقتا عند الله أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah As-Saff, O people of faith, why do you keep on talking about things that you do not translate into action? This is our chance. This is our chance. But don't be among those who are afflicted with the syndrome called, well, there are enough other than me who will do that. I am busy. Why should I? Who am I to add one person? You know, if you think like you, then everybody will end up not doing it. So each one of us, inshallah, Ya Allah, make it easy, should go outside. Before you leave, try please to leave from this side of the building so that you can pick up that. For those who are technically savvy, you know, there's a QR code that you can scan and it will shows you how you can become a member. Go home, do it. You know, from now until June 3rd, make this the title of وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد.